Today, I'm eating the worst foods in Epcot. This park is known for having the best food at Walt Disney World, but it can't all be great. I've scoured the internet for the worst reviews out there, and today we're putting them to the test. Are these 1-star rated foods really that bad? Let's go find out. Our first stop brings us to the Land Pavilion, where we'll visit Sunshine Seasons. This is a cafeteria-style quick-service restaurant serving up a variety of foods and desserts. And the general consensus is that the Asian food they serve here is pretty awful. With that being said, let's get into some of these reviews. Shakira says, "This food looks nasty. It looks like dog food from a can, absolutely nothing like the photos on the menu." JSS says, "Literally the most disgusting food on Disney property you can get. Mongolian beef tastes horrible. Grizzly cheap beef that has the texture of rubber and a nasty, gloopy sauce. Fried rice is hard and the vegetables are rocks. Food isn't fresh." Patrick Tang confirms that the Chinese food is not good. They say you can only find horrible food here. Don't judge basing on the menu. The Chinese food is no Chinese food at all except the name on the menu. Avoid it even if you're starving to die. That's serious. And then we have Vasavi, who says, "Big disappointment from the chicken stir fry and just everything from this place that sold us that. Way too sweet for stir fry and the pineapple chunks were unnecessary." Juan says, "The food was absolutely horrendous. The Mongolian beef and chicken teriyaki tasted as if they were dog canned food. Waste of money." So I think you guys could see where this is going. We're about to go get some Asian food from Sunshine Seasons. Let's go. All right, we've picked up both of our foods here from Seasons. We got the sweet and sour chicken as well as the Mongolian beef. And I gotta say, out of all of the reviews I read of this restaurant, which was pretty much every single review, there was not a singular good one about either of these foods. But they smell really good, so hopefully they're not as bad as everyone says. Well, the first thing we're gonna try is this Mongolian beef. It's served with broccoli, green onions, shoyu sauce, and sesame seeds over vegetable fried rice for $13.49. There were honestly so many complaints about this dish here. Too many to even remember, but off the top of my head, I remember a lot of people said it looked like cat food, and I do think a lot of the pieces of beef that are not covered in sauce, unfortunately, they do kind of resemble cat food, if I'm being totally honest. The quality of beef does not look great. It doesn't look like it was cooked in the woks that I saw back there. It does look like it was kind of like bagged beef. Either way, it's like shaved beef, and it's not like good quality chunks of beef. So there is that. I know I saw a review that said it was like goopy sauce, and yeah, it's definitely goopy sauce. This fried rice does look like the Trader Joe's frozen bag of fried rice, but again, they had like the stuff back there that they're making it fresh. So I would believe that they're making it fresh, although it just like doesn't look it. Maybe it was just like sitting around for a really long time. That could totally be the case. And it said this had broccoli in it, but let me show you guys the 2 pieces of broccoli that I got. That's it. That's all the broccoli. But enough talking about our Mongolian beef here. Let's try it. We'll get a little piece of beef and a little bit of fried rice. I gotta say, despite this Mongolian beef not looking the best, the taste isn't bad at all. I actually think the sauce is quite good. The texture, it's goopy, and the texture throws you off a bit, but the flavor of the sauce is good. I expected the beef to be a little more like tough and chewy, but it's not really that tough and chewy. Do I think it could be better quality beef? 100%. But with that being said, it's not super tough like the reviews said it was. Do I think this is like a super high quality Mongolian beef and fried rice? Absolutely not. But I think you get a really good portion of beef, a really good portion of rice for the price. Like, this is a huge meal. This is a hefty bowl here. This is a lot of food. So it's a really filling meal for the price. And I think the flavor is generally enjoyable. For now, let's try our other Asian dish, the stir-fried chicken. This has peppers, onions, and pineapple in a tangy sweet and sour sauce with green onions over white rice for $12.29. All right, let's get a little bite here with everything. I know there were a couple reviews of it being too sweet with that pineapple there, so we definitely got to get a chunk of pineapple, a chunk of chicken. Let's see. This doesn't really have much flavor at all, other than like a slight sweetness. There's just not much going on with this here. I will say I think the chicken is a little bit higher quality than the beef was. At least there's like a nice sear going on with some of these pieces of chicken. Like it tastes and looks a little bit fresher than the beef with the Mongolian beef did. You can see some of these pieces have a nice sear. They're definitely using some chicken thigh here, so it's nice and tender too. But the sauce just doesn't have enough flavor at all. And I think the fact that they're using white rice instead of fried rice doesn't really help either. The one review I've been holding out from you guys is coming from David. They say the absolute worst food in all of Disney and go on to say they got a parfait which tasted like vomit and made them sick for the rest of the day. So I figured I gotta try one of these parfaits and see if it actually tastes like vomit. There were two different parfaits to choose from. They had a pineapple coconut one and this antioxidant berry one. I went with the berry parfait. It has blackberries, some blueberries, some berry puree, the yogurt in there. Then we've got some granola on top as well. Give it a stir, mix it around. I'm kind of nervous. If this tastes like vomit, I actually might vomit myself. So I really hope that is not the case. I'm just kidding. David, I regret to inform you, but this parfait tastes like a parfait. And actually, it's quite good. I'm not a fan of yogurt, and I actually enjoy this a lot. The granola is good, and that berry puree on the bottom, it's quite tasty. I just wish this had some like fresh fruit in there, but I like it, and it doesn't taste like vomit, so it's a good sign. Next, we're entering the World Showcase and heading straight to America. Regal Eagle is serving up barbecue-style food from all different regions around the country. This restaurant generally has a pretty high rating and is actually one of my personal favorite places to eat in the World Showcase. But some people on Google complain about the poor quality of meat, how it's dry and not really cooked right, so today we're gonna find out for ourselves. Let's get into some reviews. First, we have ES, who says, "Why, Disney, did you lower the quality? We used to love Regal Eagle and would eat there every time we would visit Epcot. We ate there yesterday and nothing tasted the same. Mac and cheese used to have real cheese in it, and now it's just white Velveeta cheese," which actually I will agree with. They did change the mac and cheese about a year or so ago, and it is definitely not as good as it used to be. Very, very unfortunate. Next, we have MLLJ, who says, "The pork ribs were terrible and they tasted horrible. 2 of them weren't cooked all the way and they were mostly pure fat. The other 3 ribs were black and burnt to a crisp. I tried to eat 2 of the ribs and I thought I would barf them up. The onion rings were way overcooked and falling apart. The garlic toast was cold and mushy. It was a bad experience." DL Harvey says, "Microwaved barbecue at its finest. Sauces are jarred. Take a hard pass on this place." And we conclude with a review from the Morrow family, who says, "This was the poorest Disney meal at Epcot. This is the poorest meal that I've had at any Disney park in 20 years of coming here. Barbecue and brisket on garlic had been sitting too long before serving. Everything was dry and unappetizing." So, we got a lot of barbecue to eat, and I'm gonna try and sample as many of the meats as I can. In order to do so, I ordered the barbecue platter. This comes with Memphis dry rubbed pork ribs, North Carolina chopped smoked pork butt, and smoked sausage served with cornbread and choice of a side, which I chose onion rings for $18.49. I don't know about you guys, but when I order a barbecue platter, I do expect it to be a little bit larger. I feel like platter implies that it's going to be a very large portion or something, but this is just a large platter and not a lot of food on it. Oh my gosh, these birds out here by Regal Eagle are crazy. And before we dig into it, I do want to say, I feel like a lot of people in the reviews are mistaking the meat at Regal Eagle for being miscooked or undercooked for it just being smoked. Because a lot of times when you smoke meat, it just gets like a red ring around the outside, and people think that it's undercooked or not cooked, which can be a little bit alarming when you get chicken that's like a little red. But I feel like a lot of people just don't realize that, and they do let you know by the register that that is the case. It's usually fully cooked, but people just sometimes don't realize that. So I feel like that could be a factor in a lot of the reviews. But we've got our onion rings here, which I'm hearing, according to MLLJ, are way overcooked and falling apart. Now, a lot of these onion rings are very salty. You can see this one has a ton of salt on it. It almost looks like mold, actually. Kind of looks like mold on it. So we'll leave that one be. I feel like it's going to be way too salty. But onion ring. I wouldn't say it's overcooked, and I wouldn't say it's falling apart either. I mean, it's just your average onion ring. Very salty, even though the one I picked up didn't have a lot of salt on it. But these are just frozen onion rings, and I know that because these are the same ones that they sell at the cast member store here at Disney World, Cast Connections. They sell these in a frozen bag, and you can actually purchase them if you're a cast member at the store. But they're nothing special. I mean, they're just an onion ring, but mine this time around were not overcooked and falling apart. So that's a good sign. And now for the meats. We'll start with the smoked pork butt here. And this is dry, unsauced pulled pork here. So I got myself a side of the mustard barbecue sauce. They have a bunch of different barbecue sauces out in the restaurant, and you could kind of choose whichever one you'd like. And I like that. I always like getting the mustard barbecue sauce. It's my favorite one there. So we'll grab a little bit on our pork. I love the flavor that the tangy mustard barbecue sauce gives to the pork, but honestly, I had a couple bites of the pork on its own. It doesn't need it. This pork is super flavorful, just solo. It is so juicy, and there's just these like little pieces of kind of like the bark, the outside, that add a nice texture and provide even like more flavor. That's really, really good. I think we should save the ribs for last here. We'll dig into them last. Next, the sausage. And sausage is actually one of my go-to meats at a barbecue place, and I don't think I have had it here. I think this is one of the newer additions at Regal Eagle. I think it came about with the addition of this platter, which is also semi-new. It does have a good smoky flavor, and it's nice and juicy, that's for sure, but it's just nothing special, you know? Like, I feel like I could find that at many other places. Like, I wish it was maybe flavored to have some type of cheddar or something in it, because it's very, very plain. It tastes like they just took like the, what brand is it? That brand of like kielbasa from the grocery store and just put it on a smoker for a little bit. Like, it's pretty basic. So the pork, definitely the winner so far. Let's see how these ribs here are. Now, these ribs are not very big. They're two small ribs. I actually can't even cut these. That's not a good sign. I can't even find where the bones are. Oh no. Oh man, guys, there is like no meat on these ribs. Let me just tell you. I don't know if you could tell just how large this bone is, but look, this is like entirely bone. There's like no meat on this. And then we've just got this, which is just the meat on the top. But I'm pulling it up again to see exactly what MLLJ said. And she said they weren't cooked all the way, they were mostly fat, and they were black and burnt to a crisp. Let's see if she's right. What I will say is that this tastes like jerky. Like, there's really so little meat on here that what is on here is just like smoked so much that it's almost turned into like jerky, if that makes sense. She said they're burnt to a crisp. I think she's just mistaking that for the bark because the flavor on the outside is good. Like that bark and the seasoning on the outside is really, really tasty. I like that flavor a lot. My issue is kind of similar to everyone. The quality of these ribs, the quality of the meat isn't there. It's not good. Like, would you guys just look at how thick this second rib is? Like the bone is so thick. There's like no meat on this thing. So for $18, this price is just absolutely crazy. The biggest serving is the pulled pork, which is the best meat on this platter, which is sad because if these ribs were like meaty ribs, if they gave you 2 meaty ribs, this wouldn't be bad and these ribs would be delicious because the flavor's there. It's just the quality of them is really, really bad. But the pork's a winner. But you could get the pork on its own without this platter. So I would definitely not recommend this platter. I would not get this again because the sausage isn't good. The ribs aren't good. The pork is where it's at though, so platter's a skip for me. Continuing around the world showcase, naturally our next stop is Italy. There is just no way I could film a worst foods in Epcot video and leave out Italy because in my opinion, this country consistently has some of the worst food in Epcot, and with this one, I think the internet agrees. Gelateria Toscana is the lowest rated place to get food in this entire park with a 2.9 rating. And after reading through the reviews, the main complaint is that this is not authentic gelato whatsoever. And having been to Italy myself, we'll see how true that really is. But first, let's see what the rest of these reviews have to say. Alex Y says, avoid this place. The product is very cheap quality and tastes worse than the cheapest generic ice cream. I ordered 2 gelatos, but were melting at the time of delivery and pasted worse than they looked. Definitely not gelato. I also ordered a chocolate milkshake that was also melted and had the consistency of thick chocolate milk, nothing close to a milkshake. Staff didn't seem to care. $30 in the trash, so disappointing. M. Doyle, this is not real gelato. Leaves a film and was too sweet, nothing like Italy. Lissandro says, not Italian gelato, but pure sugar. If they were to open such a store in Italy, the government would close it. Disgraceful. Daleen, expensive gelato, and they served it melted. Hamilton, too sugary. It is not authentic Italian gelato. Kayla M, poisonous ice cream. Brandy, garbage gelato. So people feel very strongly. It seems like a lot of gelato is getting served melted, and people seem to think it's just too sugary, too sweet, and it's not authentic. So we're gonna put these reviews to the test for sure. Okay, first impressions of Gelateria Toscana. Not super impressed. The menu, I think the flavors of gelato could be a little bit better. They had like mint chocolate chip, they had vanilla, strawberry, chocolate, cookies and cream, espresso, and they also had a flavor of the month, which currently it is pumpkin or like a peppermint mocha flavor. I decided to just go with the espresso flavor gelato because I wanted to test out everyone's theory to see if it melted and see if it was good quality gelato. And then I also had to get a chocolate milkshake here to see how this was. So I don't know, we're not looking too hot. I know gelato is obviously supposed to be not as frozen and a little more like stretchy and a little more melty, but it should still be able to hold its form. I think I have had this scoop here for maybe a total of like 3 minutes in my possession, and it is already complete soup. And I want to remind you, it's, I think like 66 degrees right now. So like, it's not a warm day. I can't even imagine this on a hot day. So we're not starting off too hot, but maybe the gelato tastes good. This singular small scoop of gelato here, which I got the espresso flavor, cost me $8.75. Now, if you wanted to get the medium size, that does run you $11.75. So this is very expensive. It's a very expensive treat here, and hopefully the taste lives up to the price. Let's see. This looks very icy. Like, it doesn't look creamy at all. I do think the consistency is definitely off. Like, in that first bite, I literally got like a shard of ice. Like, I was chewing on a piece of ice. So it's not that creamy, silky texture that you want. I think the espresso flavor in this is good. However, I definitely agree with everyone. This is super, super sweet. Oh my gosh, like, even the more I eat it, I'm realizing just how sweet this is. For espresso ice cream, espresso gelato, Usually I like it so much, like coffee ice cream and that kind of thing, because it's not sweet. It's almost like a little bitter. But this is sweet. This is the sweetest coffee ice cream gelato I have ever had by far. And it shouldn't be like that at all. And yeah, this is like actual soup at this point. It's been about 5 minutes out. And I think I was in Italy in the dead of summer and it was hot as heck. And my gelato didn't melt like this. So yeah, $9, about $9 for this tiny cup of gelato. I think the ice cream over in France is a lot better. I wouldn't say it's poisonous ice cream, poisonous gelato like some people said, but it is certainly not good and it is certainly not worth that expensive price. I also wanted to try this milkshake though, because there were some bad reviews of this as well. I decided to get the chocolate milkshake for $12. And they didn't give me a straw for this one, so I just got to use a spoon here, and there were no straws out there. Now the complaint was that this was the consistency of like chocolate milk. And I'll tell you what, it is not thick at all. This is a thin milkshake. Oh my gosh, yeah. I think you might be right, whoever said that. I actually think this here might be worse than the gelato. This is not rich at all. The chocolate flavor is off. And what I think happened is they put way too much milk in here. And the milk just drowned out the chocolate gelato flavor and it made it way too runny. Because this is not the consistency that a milkshake should be. And whoever said it is right. This is the consistency of chocolate milk. That's not a milkshake. And it does not taste great either. It's not good. Moving along to China, it is time to hit up the Lotus Blossom Cafe. This is another country that I just find to have really poor food all around, so I am not surprised that the internet thinks that some of the worst food in the park can be found at Lotus Blossom Cafe. So let's just get into the reviews. And first up we have Anna, who says, worst food ever for a huge price. The only good thing was white rice. It tasted like what you can get at the frozen aisle, which isn't bad, but when you end up paying $100 for it, you leave disappointed. Service was okay, but beware, if you get pot stickers, they taste awful. You only get 3 for $8. Fried rice tasted like dirt. Don't go here. Catherine says, truly the worst place to eat in all of Walt Disney World. It has only gotten worse. It's low quality Chinese mall food, but twice as expensive and a smaller portion. The noodles were so greasy they literally soaked through the container. No excuses, Disney, do better. Dash Meat says, Costco frozen noodles heated up are better than their cold vegetable noodle combo. Service was good though. Shilpa, if I could give 0 stars, I would. The quality of the food was very bad. The stir-fry noodles just had boiled vegetables, no taste or flavor to it. And these just go on and on, guys. The worst Chinese food I have ever eaten, extremely dry and flavorless. There are so many more that I could pull up. And I gotta say, I, for the most part, agree with everyone. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the food in this pavilion here, which is unfortunate because I absolutely love Chinese food. And the food at Lotus Blossom used to be pretty decent, but over the years, it has gone so downhill. So we're gonna get a couple of the things that some people mentioned in their reviews and see if they're really that bad. So I have picked up my food based on everyone's recommendations or not recommendations, and I'm kind of at a loss for words. We are not looking too hot. That is for sure. That is definitely for sure. This is looking worse than expected, to be honest. Let's start by digging into this stir-fried vegetable noodle combo. This is served with a vegetable spring roll and a fortune cookie for $14.75. Let's just get the price out of the way. $15, about $15 for this is absolutely insane for no meat in this meal, for just a pile of noodles. And let's also point out the other obvious thing. There are no vegetables in this. The only vegetables, okay, I guess there are vegetables. There are a couple of shreds of green onion and then a couple of shards of carrot. I'll put it closer so you can see it. But there are no vegetables in this. I expected maybe some bok choy, some onion, some broccoli. No vegetables. There are in fact no vegetables. It is just noodles with a couple of green onions and carrots. Second thing. Our vegetable spring roll, Wait until you guys see a close-up of this one. Is that a vegetable spring roll? Or is this a dumpling? A pot sticker? A veggie pot sticker? Am I going crazy here or what? Because this is this is truly blowing my mind here, and everyone is being proven right on the grease part of things, because on my plate there are little like grease handprints from where they picked it up. This is greasy. Like, this is going to hurt my stomach. I already know it. Let's start with these noodles first. And I just dug around a little bit to see if we could find some vegetables. Maybe they were hidden. No, there are no vegetables in this. Someone mentioned like steamed vegetables in their review. No, there are not even steamed vegetables in here. I wish there were. No veggies. Let's try the noodles. Yeah, this is unfortunately tasting just as bad as it looks. Literally, as I'm eating the noodle, there's just grease coating the inside of my mouth. And it tastes like a mixture of vegetable oil. And this sounds so weird, but curry powder. Like, there's no like soy sauce flavor or anything. It just tastes like oil and curry powder, which is odd. It's not what I expect or want when I'm eating some type of like veggie lo mein. And lo mein is like my favorite Chinese food, American Chinese food dish that I get when I get like Chinese food takeout. I love lo mein and some type of noodles, but these are not it. These noodles themselves are so undercooked. And I'm not even talking like an al dente noodle. Like, these are like hard. Those are so bad. This is probably the worst thing I've eaten today, but we still have our vegetable spring roll here to try.
So China's when you get tired?
I don't know what's worse on that. The filling or the noodle part. I think it might be the noodle part. It's so thick. The noodle in this is so thick. And yeah, this is like a pan-fried dumpling. I don't know why they would call it a spring roll. I have a feeling our best part of this combo meal here is gonna be this fortune cookie, if I could open it. There we go. I'm throwing it around. But Anna also told me that the pot stickers were bad, so I decided to get an order of them too. These chicken pot stickers come with 3 in an order for $7.35. Now, in her review, she did mention that it came with 3 for that price, which, yes, crazy price for just 3. But to be fair, on the menu board, they did show just 3 pot stickers, so it's not misleading. At least there's that. However, look at this tiny amount of sauce that they gave us. And if these pot stickers taste anything like the noodles, we're gonna need any amount of sauce that we can get to help us. And there's something floating around in this sauce, so I'm a little scared to use it as well. Oh my God, there's a pool of oil on the bottom of this pot sticker container too. So these are gonna be super oily. You can just see the oil on these pot stickers here, and they are pan fried, but like there's just oil everywhere. Oh my gosh, this is not good for my stomach, guys. I'm trying to dunk this in the sauce. I can't even dunk it because there's barely any. Let's try. The only flavor from these pot stickers is coming from the sauce, and I do have a compliment for this. The sauce is good. The sauce has a good flavor. But just like look at the inside of this dumpling here. It's all the same color. You would expect a couple greens or something thrown in there, maybe some green onions, literally anything. But no, it's just like ground chicken. The noodle is too thick, just like the thickness of that, whatever that spring roll was that we had. And it just has no flavor other than oil. Like, it just tastes like straight up oil. And $8 for 3 is an absolute crime. I truly think like the Trader Joe's frozen pot stickers are leaps and bounds better than these. So I don't know who they're sourcing these from, but they should go to Trader Joe's and just get their pot stickers because they are significantly better than whatever they're using here. Our final stop of the day is going to be in Mexico at La Cantina de San Angel. The overall rating of this quick service restaurant is 3.9 out of 5 stars, and the main complaint about this restaurant is that the portions are very small and the prices are very high. Again, let's just hop into it with some of these reviews. Right away we have Joseph, who says, "There's always a long line, so I assumed the food would be good. Sadly, the shrimp are these little popcorn shrimp, way overpriced for the portions and quality. Connections is better." Devin said, "Food costs $15 for 3 tacos with less than an ounce of meat in each. Portion sizes on the sides are tiny. Flavors are beyond awful. Easily the worst theme park food I've ever had." Rebecca says, "We threw both our orders in the garbage, trio and barbacoa. The tacos were dry and flavorless. Minimal seasoning was used at best." Juan says, "Very small portions." So you get the gist. Everyone pretty much has the exact same opinion that the portions are quite tiny, and I have since picked up my tacos. And I want to just let you guys know that I waited so long for these tacos. There was not that many people there. There were maybe 5 to 10 people waiting to pick up their orders. I waited 25 minutes for these tacos, as everyone behind me that also ordered the taco trio was getting them before me. So I waited a very long time for these tacos, and it better be worth it. I really hope so. I waited so long that it is now dark outside. So here we have the taco trio from La Cantina de San Angel. This has a barbacoa, a pollo, and a camarón taco on homemade corn tortillas, served with rice and black beans and queso fresco for $16.25. And right off the jump, I do have to agree with everyone's takes. These are quite tiny for the price. I want to count just how many shrimp are on here. Wow, there are only 2 shrimp on this taco here. Just 2. That's it. And then here, I'd say that's probably less than an ounce of barbacoa for sure. And I'm assuming the chicken is over here. Yeah, these are very tiny tacos, but I do have to say, the tortillas do feel very fresh, and they feel like they're gonna be good. And like I said, I sure waited long enough for these tacos, so they better taste good. First, chicken. The best part about this taco here is hands down the tortilla. It does taste really fresh and really good. It tastes like the quality that I get at the Mexican food trucks that I go to here around Orlando. These tortillas are delicious. The chicken tastes okay. It's in some type of red salsa. It's okay. It's enjoyable. Is it worth the price? Probably not, but it's definitely edible. Way more edible than the people made it seem. Now we have the barbacoa here, which looks like it's in that same red sauce. That probably has way less flavor than the chicken, I would say, but again, that tortilla is quite delicious. So I'm not mad at the tortilla, at least. I'm enjoying that, but just the meat is a little bit flavorless. Now I just want to try this shrimp here because it is just a fried shrimp. And I don't know if that's what I really expect when I order a shrimp taco. I kind of expect it to be more grilled, but oh, it's falling apart too. I'm not a fan of that at all. The shrimp tastes like it's been fried in some type of cornmeal, and this sounds so weird, but it tastes like a Casey's Corner corn dog nugget. And to only have 2 on there, it's not enough. If this meal was $10, $12, it'd be enough, but $18 after tax, Well, that is going to do it for us tonight in Epcot, trying the worst food in the park. I'd say those reviews definitely led me in the right direction. We found some stuff that I really didn't enjoy. The worst thing of the day being those noodles from China. I really did not enjoy them whatsoever. There were other things that I didn't enjoy, but for the most part, I could eat them and still find something that I enjoyed about them. But those noodles, they were really just not my thing at all. I did not care for them. But with all of the bad food in the park, there is also plenty of good food in the park. And I have plenty of videos covering all of the good food in the park, all of my favorite foods in the park. So make sure you guys check them out too. But I want to hear from you guys. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think the worst food is here in Epcot. For now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you to everyone over on Patreon. I appreciate your support. If you enjoy honest Disney food reviews and you don't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.